The person in front of me pays, but I can see the cashier as I'm talking to Charissa isn't done ringing it up. He's like, go ahead. And I'm like, she's not done. And I'm having a fight in front of Charissa on the phone with a guy in the line.
I was worried about the man in line.
Hey guys, welcome to the official YouTube page for Calm Down with Erin and Charissa. This is where you can watch all of our ridiculous conversations and fun interviews.
We have full shows. We've got pre-games, anything and everything that you guys could want. But first, you're going to have to subscribe. Just hit subscribe right there and you're good to go.
And now you can calm down with us.
Yep. Can you tell that we're reading this off a script? We hope so. All right. We need to calm down and wrap this bad boy up. Press subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Calm Down podcast pregame. Hi, doll.
Oh, I love this first question. I didn't even read all of it, but I saw the beginning part. Hi, Jen Trask. I'm a first-generation female rancher who shares about my ranch on IG. I receive a lot of text messages from male ranchers saying, you think you're better than us? Ignore them or respond. Wait, I'm confused. Why are they sending you that? What's the point?
Okay, well, Jess, as someone who's currently at Ruby Ranch, my own ranch, which I fully admit that I have no goddamn clue what I'm doing at all up here. Admittingly, people are like, why a ranch? I'm like, because I watched Yellowstone and I was the asshole who was like, oh, this will be fun. And have since now 2 years into this project realized these are the hardest working people in America. Farmers, ranchers, even right before we got on here, had to drain the hoses because there's going to be a freeze that's coming, had to put the blanket on Oz. There's all these things that you have to do that I had no idea about. So Jess, if men are coming to you and being like, you think you're better than us, why? Because then all of a sudden you're doing something that they think is only male dominated or male, I don't understand why they're intimidated, but you also are a rancher? I'm confused. But to hopefully answer the question, ignore them or respond, ignore them. They're looking for you to respond.
Yeah.
And they're looking for you to get upset and defend yourself. And as this is related but unrelated, people that try to poke Erin and I on stuff, every now and then we'll respond just because it's we've had enough. But for 10 bad comments. Actually, let's go bigger on that number. For 100 bad comments, we might respond to maybe one. And go for it, Erin. What is the weather like right now?
There was one yesterday where somebody said, Erin, you look so great. You have this glow. What are you using? And I said, it's called sweat. We were outside. Stop me if you've heard this. About 90 degrees on the field for 4 hours. And it was perfect where the sun is just pelting me. And I'm thinking, I know I don't have enough sunscreen on. I put sunscreen on, but this was a reapply. And you can't do that when you've got all that makeup. And I'm thinking, here comes the pigmentation. Oh, another field goal. Here comes the sunburn. Oh, another field. It's you don't have time for that. But when someone said, what do you use? I wrote back and I said, it's called sweat and I need a shower. And some asshole wrote, it's hot flashes. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. It's
every
outside
time
for 5 hours. Enough.
Yeah. So Jess, don't worry about those losers. You keep doing you. And Jess, I'm very interested in your ranch. So please tell us more. Let's just skip past all the men who are intimidated by you for doing things that they think that they own the landscape on. Layla Raya, my BF insists on watching shows with closed captions on. It drives me nuts. Thoughts? I don't know if this is boyfriend or best friend with the BF. I'm going to assume boyfriend, but I saw Hoda and Jenna talk about this the other day, and I almost sent it to our group chat about podcast topics. I love closed captioning. Love it.
I had Steve at our house for Thanksgiving and we were watching you and I felt so embarrassed that closed captioning was on, but it kept coming on over your heads. And I was like, we got to get Halloween. This off. We got to get this off. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, for Halloween. Did I say Thanksgiving?
Which, by the way, I need to know, can he come to your house for Thanksgiving? Because is Jarrett going to be home?
Oh, even better. He can come to my house because Jarrett and Mac are going to be alone and I'm in Dallas. He already knows the two houses he's going to hit and he's very comfortable there and they'll have a great time.
Kate,
Jarrett will be so happy.
This was my conundrum, which we can talk about on the big show.
Yeah.
Because it was scheduling for Thanksgiving. So this is great. This is a tease in the biz.
It's
We will
Boys
discuss this.
Thanksgiving. Boys Thanksgiving.
I literally
sounds like
said,
a Friends episode.
I said, I was like, babe, don't worry about, he has got a real thing. He's going to hate me that I said this. He does not want to be alone on Thanksgiving.
No,
but he can't come to
He'll be
Kansas
with his
City
best
because I'm going to
friends.
be there for like 5 seconds. Anyways, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, so great.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Oh my God, cute.
And you know where he's going, and they'll be so excited.
I already know.
Yeah.
Look at all the things that
they'll have so much more fun than us.
No shit. We're going to be working, which by the way, we're thrilled to be working.
So thankful.
You've got the Thanksgiving game. I'll be watching you that night. Then I've got the Black Friday game, which is Kansas City Raiders. Who's your Thanksgiving game? Obviously Cowboys and
the Giants.
The Giants. Okay, well, you know what? Look, it's
Lainey Wilson.
There we go. Let's focus on the positive.
So thankful.
So
and I was just getting
captioning.
fitted for my outfit. So that's why I was late. I'm sorry.
This is also why Erin is like such a planner. I am draining the water out of the hoses so it doesn't freeze. And she's planning her outfit for Thanksgiving. I don't even know what I'm wearing tomorrow. Good for you.
Yeah,
that's why you look great all the time.
No, it's not.
I love closed captioning is my point in all of this.
I do too. And we need it. The problem is, dear closed captioners, can we do it where it's not over the scoreboard or over, I need it in a better area where it's not affecting the visual. You know what I'm saying?
This is a great point. It shouldn't be as large, and why does it always have to be in the bottom?
Yeah.
Like you should be able to move it around. I'd also like a font change. You know, when we're doing an Insta story, can we scroll over and have a different font change?
A bubble. It depends on your mood.
I was FaceTiming with Erin the other day, and all of a sudden her iPad comes up with these thumbs up and these weird. I'm like, "What? Your iPad does that? Does anybody else? I don't know.
Yeah,
what setting you have it on."
Thing. Remember when we did this from a Zoom, and it did that? You were telling a story, or it did that.
I know. I don't understand. Or it did fireworks too. Anywho, I digress. I love closed captioning. The reason why I love closed captioning is because sometimes I can't understand what they're saying, or there's like a whisper, or maybe my hearing's going bad. I just like to follow along for story time. Also great for practicing the prompter because you're reading out loud for those of you early broadcast students or 20 years into the business students. Next.
Okay, love sports. Are you texting each other while on air?
Yes. The answer is yes. The answer is yes for a multitude of reasons. Mm-hmm. There is feedback on what's happening. There's thoughts. There's input.
You look so good.
There's also compliments to one another. You have to keep in mind too, like again, having the great benefit of a best friend that does the same job, different but the same. Erin also will send me notes on different calls that she's had with players if I have them the next week, different storylines, just information, a sharing of information and also encouragement. Maybe there's something like, hey, fix your collar, do something that other people won't tell you. So it's great. Yes, definitely texting.
Or I've messed up before on air and I've said to her, I just messed up so bad. And you're like, stop it. I didn't even see it. She's like, have you been on? I haven't seen you.
No, that's Erin and I both get in our heads about things. So it's nice to have one another be reassuring or be like, hey, that wasn't your best, but you know what we're going to do? That next hit's going to freaking crush. Or if I'm like, I ran the wrong package or said the wrong thing. I also don't want to say ran the right package or whatever I just said because I'm not a director, but you know what I'm talking about.
Last night I was on the plane and I had YouTube TV on where they had like the 3 games left and it was 2 CBSs and a Fox. And you and Julian came on to do postgame and I wrote, this is so fun. You guys were on doing postgame. It's like Chris always talks about it when we come on. It's like the first time we've seen each other and we think we don't know each other's
on TV. I know it's great.
It's really, really fun. I had such a great time watching you do it.
I love you so much. Kelly, Passionale. So both your spouses watch all your coverage when you're on air or are they over it? It's a great question. I would say Steve's newer to this game. I think Steve definitely pays attention on Thursday because it's a game. Pre-game, I think on Sunday he doesn't pay as much attention to. But what Steve will do is he keeps a running list of nicknames for my outfits. So which I find to be very entertaining. Like he doesn't know what I wear ahead of time. So like he'll see me for the first time on TV and he'll be like, ooh, giving mafia boss wife vibes or things like that. He's got a whole list in his phone of different like casual cowboy or what was the other one? It was like something cowgirl. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. 2 digresses. He watches, but not intently the way that he probably would have in the first month of the relationship. Does Jarrett?
I would agree with that statement or that answer. Yeah, no, my husband, I think I don't know, he watches, but he's just not like living and dying off of the two
like,
times.
Oh my God, she's coming on. No, Erin and I do that for each other.
Yeah.
Next,
Kelly Hogan. In my competitive rec league tennis match, my opponent was making blatantly bad line calls. I let a few go before asking, "Are you sure?" After a third, period. I struggle on how to handle without causing a scene. Ideas? I'm not the right person to ask about this. I found myself to be very blunt lately, including like today when I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, so excited to catch up with her, and I'm waiting in the smoothie, green juice, and coffee line. Sir, I can do 2 things at once. In fact, I can do it with a broken heart. I can do 5 things at once. Meanwhile, I have a guy behind me who's basically like, are you in line for your order? Because I'm talking on the phone, and I'm like, it's clearly annoying him. I'm on the phone. And I'm like, yeah, I am. The person in front of me pays, but I can see the cashier as I'm talking to Charissa isn't done ringing it up. He's like, go ahead. And I'm like, she's not done. And I'm having a fight in front of Charissa on the phone with a guy in the line. So then I get up there, I order, Charissa, hang on, order. And then I go, hey, hold on one sec, Chris. I turn around and I go ahead. It's your turn. Like I wasn't done. So I'm not the best person to ask about candy coating. Charissa, you take this one.
Candy coated rainbows. I swear to God, this was such a I've been there conversation that I was privy to based just off of being on the other end that Erin was dealing with. I was worried about the man in line at the Bristol Farms.
It's a Monday morning. Sir, I flew back from Tampa. I was in 90-degree weather. I sat in my own sweat for 8 hours.
It was very funny. And everyone knows that person that's in line, to which I then told Erin the story of like, when you're on the jet bridge and you've now, so we're boarding. We always talk about it on this podcast because it's our life is boarding zones. Okay, so now we've boarded. We're in the right zone. We're in the jet bridge. There's a backup because person, number 1 in line can't get their bag overhead. That's fine. We're all waiting. Yeah. But there's that small little space between like the person in front of you and where everybody else is like piling up. Where are you going to go? They're like, can you move forward? And I'm like, where am I going to go? There's all these people in front of me. There's nowhere for us to go. Like, don't worry about that small little gap that isn't filled. So that's my annoyance when people tell you to move forward and not move ahead. Moving ahead in the questions. Kelly, here's my answer to this. Who is this person? Like you say an opponent, do you have to see her again or see him again in this situation? Because I always like to use a little bit of, so does Erin, sarcasm with this. Be like, oh, we're going to get another free call. Oh, we're doing this today. Or just like
use some John McEnroe lines.
Just do like kind of be over the top of like, but clearly sarcastic of like, oh my God, looks like someone really wants to win today. And then let them respond to that. Because if they're going to keep doing that, like, yeah, she goes, I let a few go before asking, are you sure? That's good, Kelly.
I like that.
That's good.
That was good.
Keep doing things like that. And then at some point, you got to just be like,
knock it off.
Knock it off. Yeah. Anonymous, my husband and I are from the Northeast, but moved south for his job. We're expecting our first child. Congratulations this spring. And I'm feeling family guilt about being away from them with their first grandchild. We're happy down here, but no, being near family can be a big help. Advice. Take it away, sister.
You got to do you. I was trying to reread it and be like, oh yeah, you're down south for a job. You have to do you. If that's where the job is, I know it's difficult. I mean, I wish my mom was around right now. She is a former art teacher. She's so great with arts and crafts. Max at an age where he's like kind of trying to draw, and my mom would just be so amazing to have around. But yeah, it sucks. Like it does.
Yeah.
But we FaceTime with them all the time. And we're so excited for Christmas. Like I just saw my parents in Tampa this weekend, and everybody's so excited of how bananas he's going to be. So it stinks. Cute. But if you're there for a job, I'm not sure what else you can do.
Yeah. And I think there's also, and again, I speak from not having a child, but I've been away from my family since I was 18 years old. And my brother and sister still live close to my parents, and they have all the birthdays and family gatherings together. And I always think about like, just try to put it on the schedule. Look, for Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's never an option for us because of work, which is fine. But then like 4th of July, like put things on the schedule where you can at least, or they can come to you or you can go to them. So it's something to look forward to. But don't feel guilty, especially if it's for a job and you're supporting your soon-to-be child, which again, congratulations.
Exactly. I love it. Alyssa2212, not a question, but a tip for getting changed in airport bathrooms. Yes. Bring a pack of puppy pee pads to stand on, and then you can toss them. That's a good idea.
Wow.
That's a really good
idea.
I love that.
Alyssa 2212.
That's a good little stocking stuffer for Kevin Burkhart and myself.
Because we're on a text chain together where it always gets brought up that we're in the bathroom changing, and nothing is worse than the automatic toilets where any sudden movement when you're changing, it's splashing the water up. Or the person, Erin had the person next to her, was it last week? Whatever it was, had a stomach ache, and you're working stall 3, and she's working through a lot of things in stall 4.
And like, I'm not even halfway through getting my outfit off. You know what I mean? And I knew it was just going to be a long haul. And so I'm next to it. I'm holding my breath and I'm like, not wanting to step. I mean, I could have died. It was so, not because of what was happening, but I was holding my breath. It was just a lot. I've also thought too, I mean, I have neck and back issues just from stupid shit. And also my posture sucks. I've also thought like getting my compression pants on or off, or my clothes on and off in a hurry. I'm like, is this the way I'm going to throw out my back, or like a disc popping? You know what I mean? Because you're just like bent over in these stalls. You know what another thing is about the bathroom stall change? It's a real bitch, or even a pee in the bathroom when we're traveling. I bring a carry-on, you bring a carry-on, Kev does too. The stalls that are so small that the only way you can open the door with your bag inside is if your suitcase literally is touching the bowl of the toilet. And I'm like,
and so are the back of your legs. So are the back of your legs.
Yeah.
But
now our suitcases are so nasty. So nasty.
Do you ever wipe them down?
I spray it. I'm going to actually do that today. I need to.
I don't. I should do that. As we're having this conversation, actually, it's that move when you go through TSA and you've got to lift the bag up, and sometimes you got to put the hand on the wheel because it's like so heavy
and it grazes you, or you see the random hair coming off the wheel.
No. Now the flip side of this. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it builds up our immunities. That is the only way that I can justify the like disgustingness, because knock on wood, you and I do not get sick a lot. We do not. And it's like these people that are so sterile. Like, look, I'm all about hygiene. I am the person that showers 10 times a day, like whatever.
I can attest to that.
I just think at some point, like, you know, all of this sterilization, and you have a child. So it's like, you have to be careful. Like, when are you going to let him pick up the thing off the ground, or when are you not going to like worry about it?
Today at the playground, he was digging in the sand and pulled out a Band-Aid. I was like, oh God. Not in the mouth, not in the mouth.
See, exactly. But you have to build up the immunities in the babies, because at some point, like, we're not going to be Bubble Boy and go out into the world and be like, any little thing sets them off. Now, look, I don't need the weird bathroom moments, but yeah.
You're going to love this. Maybe I save it for the big show. Kevin and I went to Tampa this weekend, and we went on the same flights there, and we connected. We had this crazy flight. Thankfully, it was just Atlanta to Tampa. This guy was sitting behind me. I couldn't tell. It was two things: stomach flu or he was drunk. And he was literally like hunched, laying over on his wife, girlfriend, whoever was behind me. But I was thinking to myself, if this guy starts barfing the second we take off, I can't do this. So Nosy Rosie. Nosy Rosie.
That's Erin's nickname, by the way, for those of you that don't know.
Looking back, Kevin looks at me and goes, oh no. I give eyes to the female flight attendant. I'm like,
no, don't. Hey, yes, Betty Davis eyes. Don't say things we give eyes. This is two things you said already today that are so wild.
Folklore
she said
hero.
The old folklore era earlier. And I was like, we're not even referring to a Taylor Swift song. And she said folklore earlier on the call. And now
I was talking about Terry and Jimmy and Strangle. I know they're folklore heroes. But wait, so I gave eyes to the flight attendant. I was like, we good back here? She's like, let me find out. So somebody went, another flight attendant came over and goes, I didn't want to take off. And then he starts puking, or we got to make it a landing. Like, let's deal with this situation.
Again, you're so
I am
worried.
paid for my observations, and I had one behind me.
Between the Uber drivers and the flight attendants, like, just sit in the seat and get that.
Shut up.
Are we good back here? Is American Airlines paying you to be a air marshal? Because you should be paid. We got eyes on this.
I'm not an
Row
air marshal.
2B.
I'm not an air. Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
air
you
marshal,
are.
John. Yeah, you are.
Bridesmaids for those of you. Yeah, you are.
I'm not an air marshal. There's a woman dressed in colonial clothing on the wing. Whatever.
That movie holds up. It's so funny.
So good.
Oh shit. Okay, so you made eyes with the flight attendant, not sexually, but in a
I made eyes,
search and rescue.
She sent someone over there to speak with the passenger, and the passenger, she said, how's he doing? She goes, just tired. And I felt like Kristen Wiig, so tired. Something's wrong. He's lifeless. Life alert. Are we okay? We'll talk about it on the big show. We're clearly not.
Prop him up. What does he need? Wake him up.
At Bernie's?
This ain't no resting home. Oh, that was from Breakfast Club. Wake her up. This ain't no resting home. That's also another movie I need you to get more familiar with. There are so many lines in Breakfast Club. Who closed that door, sir? I don't know. Maybe a screw fell out. The world is an imperfect place. Oh, John Hughes, what a mastermind. All right. The folklore and the mastermind continue on the big show.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.